I am so excited. I am going to Trader Joe's for the very first time. My sisters called and they said they were going to Trader Joe's and they said, do you want to come with? And I was like, absolutely. So I shopped my shelves very quickly, made a very quick menu plan for the week, and I also need to make a couple of meals for a niece who has been ill, or who I should say is ill, so I need to pick up some things for that as well. So I can't wait to get there. Now, you know I've been doing this $30 grocery haul. I don't know if that's going to work for Trader Joe's, so we'll see. I might need to go up to 50. We'll see what's what. And I'll try to get a little bit of footage while I'm there, but in the meantime, they're out there now, so I'll check back with you in a little bit. So here we are. There's Trader Joe's. Now right next to it is the famous brand's fine chocolates, which the home office is right here in Fort Wayne. The lady that developed it went to high school right here in Fort Wayne. But that's not our goal for today. We are going to Trader Joe's.
And I got cookies for 89 cents.
This video is brought to you by Apron Diva. Pretty and practical, we believe that an apron can be a homemaker's best accessory. Visit us at www.aprondiva.com. So I'm back from Trader Joe's and I thought I would let you see what I got, let you know how much I spent, and then tell you what I thought about it, because this was the first time I have been to Trader Joe's. And I found it to be quite interesting. So I did discover a frozen entree section that I thought was pretty nice. So we'll talk about that in just a bit. But this is the bag that I got from Trader Joe's, and I love these paper bags. And they were free. We didn't have to pay for our bag or bring our own bag. These are the bags that they use, and there's two inside this one. And there was a lady there that had three large, kind of like burlap kind of shopping bags, but they were so cute. They had like lettuce and other fruits and vegetables on the front. They were just adorable. So I actually spent $40.61. So my goal was to try to spend $30 just to see how it would go, but not planning to spend more than $50. And I did have a list, so I made a meal plan for the week. And then in addition to that, I made a grocery list of some of the things that I needed. So now, as I always do, I shopped my shelves to see what I had available, meaning I looked at my fridge, my freezer, my pantry, and I made my grocery list, or rather my menu plan that way. And then I made my grocery list, and then I set my budget for like between $30 and $50, hoping to spend closer to $30, and then I went shopping. So What did I get? Well, what I found most interesting was this mandarin orange chicken, and it is supposed to serve about 5, so I guess that's probably like a good 3 people when you look at these kinds of things. But you've got the chicken in it, and it's got the sauce in it. It's just a bacon serve, and I thought I can make this for a meal for my husband and myself, serve it over rice, maybe saute a few carrots and onions and celery and throw that in with it. And this was $4.69, so I picked up 2 of these. Now, I have bought the PF chain at Kroger before, and they're more than $4.69. And I bought 2 of these. This is Trader Means. So, I'm not familiar with the brand, but I'm going to give it a try. And then one of the things that I love at the Panda Express, in addition to their orange chicken, is their honey walnut shrimp. I just love it. And this was about $5, and it is supposed to serve 2. So this would be fine for my husband and myself, and I would serve it over rice. Maybe I might add in some additional peas and carrots and maybe a little broccoli, and then we would have this with it. And so I got that. I was thrilled to see that, and it was about $5. This tempura shrimp, which I like tempura shrimp. I've gotten it at Kroger before, but it was the Gordon's brand, I do believe. This was about $6, maybe $6.50. I'm not sure. Let's see. It was $8. It was $7.99 for the tempura shrimp, and it is supposed to serve 3.5 servings with 3 pieces apiece. So my husband and I could probably eat the whole box, but again, have this with rice and some other veggies. So I got this for $8. So we're looking at 5, 10, maybe 15, almost 20 plus this 8. So we're looking at my $30 was almost spent right here with these main dishes. However, those are main dishes, and with a little bit of an extra of rice and veggies that I already have in my fridge, I can have us a nice little meal. And here's the other thing. I love to go to Panda Express, absolutely love it, but it is not close to our house, so it's a good 20-25 minute drive to get out there. And hubby didn't always want to drive out there. I can do DoorDash or I can do Uber Eats, but then you've got the service charge for the delivery fee. At $5 or $6 each with these and a little bit of rice and veggies that I already have, you know, I've got a meal for less than $10, whereas we never get out of Panda Express with less than $25. And it's been almost 6 months since we've been there, so that price could have gone up to almost $30. So I'm going to be giving these a try, and I'll let you guys know how I like them. The other thing I picked up there were these parsnips. And I thought it was interesting that most of their vegetables were kind of in like baggies like this. They were either shrink wrapped or they were in baggies. And these are parsnips, and I'm going to make a dish in one of the new cookbooks that I got. Yes, I know. I bought 3 new cookbooks the other day. I went to Half Price Books and bought 3 cookbooks. One was soups, one was crock pot recipes made by the crock pot people, the original crock pot people, and one that like tells you how to do everything from scratch, start to finish. And in the soups one, they had this really good looking butternut squash soup with tomato salsa. So I picked up a butternut squash because I'm going to make that soup for us. But you also use roasted vegetables in the soup, which meant I needed some parsnips, some carrots, onions, you know, some kind of things like that, root vegetables. So I got the parsnips. And one of the recipes that I plan to use or to make also called for leeks. So I picked up these leeks at Trader Joe's, and they're already trimmed. I do need to wash them before use. And the parsnips were $2.99. The parsnips were $2.99. The parsnips were $1.99. The leeks were $2.99. And then I also picked up these Brussels sprouts. And these Brussels sprouts just look amazing. Look how large they are. I'll be able to like wash them, cut them in half, broil them, whatever. The Brussels sprouts were $2.99. So I got those. These are for recipes that I plan to make. And then I needed some Parmesan cheese for a couple of things that I'm making. And I made some zuppa Toscano soup yesterday, and I needed Parmesan cheese to top it, and I didn't have any, so I ended up using feta cheese on top of that instead. But I wanted to get some Parmesan cheese. And then the block cheese was like $8.99 a pound. So I was able to get this carton of grated domestic Parmesan cheese. It was $5.69. Might have some of the fillers, or what do you call that, the anti-blocking agent in it. I don't care. So there's that. So those are the things that I got. Now, where is my, let me grab my menu list. So here's my menu plan for the week. So today we are having some leftovers from a family gathering we went to yesterday. So we've got chicken, meatballs, mashed potatoes with gravy, green beans, and of course, you know, I always got to have some cranberry sauce. So that's what we're having today. Tomorrow, I'm going to make the garlic and squash soup, and we're going to have some crusty bread with that. Tuesday is Taco Tuesday, and so we're going to have probably a taco bowl, because I like those. I do have some taco shells in the pantry, and we could just have regulation tacos, but I kind of like having the taco bowls, and I think he does too sometimes, but I can switch that up if I choose to. On Wednesday, we're going to do chicken and dumplings, or either chicken and dumplings or chicken and noodles, not sure. And then backing up to Tuesday, the tacos could be ground beef tacos or they could be chicken tacos. I was thinking chicken tacos for Tuesday, and then making chicken and dumplings with some of the chicken on Wednesday. On Thursday, I plan to make oxtail stew, and I've got 2 oxtails in the fridge. I've had them in the freezer. I've had them in there for a while, and I need to get them cooked. And I used to make that for my dad all the time when I was at home. And but I've only made it maybe once or twice for my husband. So I thought, you know what, why don't I make that? Well, I picked those oxtails up, I believe, at Kroger. Those puppies were $12 for 2, and they're higher now. So I thought, let me get those out of the freezer and make that oxtail stew before those oxtails end up with freezer burn. I thought I might like to have a few more to go in the stew. Well, Trader Joe didn't have any oxtails, so I didn't get any of those today. On Friday, I haven't put anything down. Sometimes we'll get takeout on Friday, or we could have some leftovers. He likes to have fish a couple of times a week, and I don't have fish down on the menu anywhere yet. So if he chooses to have fish on one of these days, then I'll have some leftovers and move one of these meals to another day. And then sometimes on Friday, we'll do KFC and get some chicken wings and mashed potatoes and whatever, or we'll go to Shigs and Pitts and get some pulled pork and ribs and that kind of thing. So I don't know, but I left one day blank. On Saturday, I plan to make a chicken pot pie, and then on Sunday, a roast chicken or pork chops and cabbage, because I've got both. I've got chicken in the freezer and I've got some pork chops in the freezer. But I also have a cabbage in the fridge that I've had for a little over a week. So it's probably coming up on a time that I need to cook that. So we may do pork chops with caramelized apples and cabbage on Sunday. And backing up to Saturday, I was thinking maybe a chicken pot pie, but if I don't want to do chicken pot pie, I could do like a chicken shepherd's pie. You know, you tend to use ground beef or lamb in that shepherd's pie, but I could certainly do chicken instead. And I made some chicken chili last week. Oh my goodness, it was so good, and it made a huge pot. So I've got some of it in the freezer, and I was thinking that would make a pretty good shepherd's pie, because you know, you've got the ground beef, the ground pork and all that, and you've got all the spices and the seasonings in it. The only thing that's not in it is some frozen mixed vegetables. So I thought, I could just, you know, cook some frozen mixed vegetables, saute them up a little bit, put them in the chili, put the chili in a casserole dish, and then spread the top of that with either rice or mashed potatoes. And I do have mashed potatoes left over because I had to make mashed potatoes for like 25 to take to this family gathering. I did make a video, so hopefully you've seen that. But if not, I'll link it in the description box. But I had some left over. I took a bunch with me, but there was a small pot that I left in the car just in case we didn't need it, and we didn't need it. So I brought that pot back home, and now it's in the freezer. So I thought I can make a shepherd's pie with that. So we'll see. So let me get these these frozen things in the freezer, and then I'll come back and tell you what I thought about my very first time at Trader Joe's. Okay, so what were my thoughts about Trader Joe's itself? Especially since it was my first time shopping there, I was amazed at the quality of their produce. Their produce looked absolutely amazing. They had quite a few varieties, and like I said, many of them were shrink wrapped or in individual like little bags already. Prices were a little higher, I think, than Kroger for the most part for many things, but like their orange, yellow, and red bell peppers, they were $1.49 each, and I think they're about the same price at Kroger. So some of the produce was similar in price, but some of it was a lot more expensive. For example, they had some different little grapes that I had not seen before. I think one was like either cotton candy or rock candy grapes. Those things were like $9.99 a pound. So, and I was telling my one sister who had been there before, she was the one that took me and my other sister there, and she says, well, you know, Trader Joe's is a specialty store, so they're not going to have everything. And that was what I found. So, for example, on the butternut squash with tomato salsa topping, that particular one is the one that I believe had the roasted root vegetables that I ended up putting in the soup. Well, which I will end up putting in the soup. And one of the veggies that I needed was turnips, because that was going to be one of the root vegetables. Well, they didn't have any turnips, so I couldn't get a turnip, so they didn't have any turnips. I also needed some Canadian bacon because I wanted to make this chowder that I saw in this cookbook. And I needed Canadian bacon for that. Well, they didn't have any Canadian bacon. The guy said they haven't carried it for a couple of years. And then I needed some hominy for the chowder as well. And I just didn't even bother to look there because since they didn't have some of the other things, I figured they wouldn't have hominy, something that mundane. And I can go to Kroger to look for that. I didn't buy any broth, and since I said, you know what, you're going to need broth for the next soups and stews you're going to be making, just make some. So you can see back here I've got my stock pot on, and I'm making some broth as we speak. And I'll get that all finished up when the time is right. And I couldn't find the poblano pepper. Tapioca goes in one of these recipes. I'm not sure which one, but I didn't find any of that. And I didn't look for it because by that time my sisters were ready to go. So I thought, okay, I'll just get the tapioca when I go to get the other stuff. And those were the things I could not find, in addition to canned clams. Because there's a clam chowder that Miss Leona from Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme made. And I thought, I'm going to make that clam chowder. Well, I needed 2 cans of clams, and they didn't have any canned clams. They had canned trout, sardines. They had 2 or 3 different kinds of fish as well as salmon and all that. No clams. So, oh, they even had, what do you call those things? They're about this tall, this round, not truffles. I can't think of the name of them. But anyway, those other little seafood kind of things that you buy, that you get when you get seafood dinners. They had those in the can, but no clams. So those are the things that I still need. And I plan to make chicken noodle soup or chicken and dumplings, I'm not sure which, for one of my family members who is very ill. And I thought this would be good for her and her family. And I'm debating between chicken noodle soup or chicken and dumplings, just because, you know, kids can have a thing with like certain textures. But from what I understand from her husband, she says we eat anything, kids eat anything. So maybe I'll go ahead and do the dumplings. They might like those, but I'll see. I'll think more about that because, you know, like I said, sometimes it's a texture thing, and dumplings are kind of a wet kind of bread on the outside. So maybe the chicken noodle soup or the chicken and noodles might be a better option for them. So yeah, so that helps me decide that. And I already have the carrots and the onions and the celery and those kind of things in the fridge, so I didn't need to pick those kind of things up. What else did I think? I did feel like the prices, though, were a bit higher, I must say. Now, my sister that shops there frequently, she said she didn't think so. She said they're higher than Walmart, but then some of the things she found there she thought was at a better bargain than at Walmart. but she felt like the prices were comparable or competitive. And I used to go to Fresh Time every now and then, and she says, well, they're comparable with Fresh Time or Whole Foods. So I don't know. I don't think I've been to Whole Foods, but I have been to Fresh Time a couple times. On the other hand, I don't think I'd want to go to Trader Joe's and I'm shopping for the week or for the month. I can see myself going there to pick up a few things, but to be shopping for like a 2-week period, I don't think so. I think it might be a little bit higher in price than what I would want to spend. Now, that's my first impressions. What do you think? Have you been to Trader Joe's, and what are your thoughts? Do you think it's comparable in prices to like Kroger or Fresh Time or Whole Foods or what? Inquiring minds want to know. And then I thought I'd let you see my new cookbook. So this one, the Complete Step-by-Step Cookbook, is amazing. It's by Better Homes and Gardens. It was $7.49. And I like the fact, first of all, that it's got so many pictures, different kind of cakes and stews and all that. But in each of the units, it's got what they call techniques. So they give you a technique on how to do something for either each recipe or each unit. Techniques on preparing fresh vegetables. You've got techniques for making bread, for frying yeast donuts, techniques for cooking a steak. They've got techniques on everything. And so I thought, well, let me just check that out. So I've been pouring through it. The other one that I picked up was this Best Ever Soups, and it was just $3.49. Now, I think it's got a UK publisher, because some of the recipes, it was previously published as the New Soup Bible. Okay, not heard of that before. But the recipes, when they give you the ingredients, it'll be like milliliters, tablespoons, or grams, ounces, or generous 1 cup or something like that. So I like that. It also gives you degrees Celsius, degrees Fahrenheit, and something called like gas 1 or gas levels. I don't know. But definitely you've got the Fahrenheit and the Celsius. So I've been pouring through that. And then this one, the crock pot, the original slow cooker. Now this one was the most expensive. It was $14.99. And it is made by the original crock pot people. You know, the crock pot is the original slow cooker. So we call almost every slow cooker a crock pot, just like we call almost every brand of facial tissue Kleenex, when in actuality, facial tissue is facial tissue and Kleenex is a brand, and that crock pot is a brand, and other cookers are like Hamilton Beach or whatever. So their generic name is slow cooker, generic name is facial tissue. It's got a lot of great recipes in here too. So I'm going to be making a couple of these, and I will let you see me as I do them. I've been getting lots of good comments from my $30 series. People have really been enjoying that. So I will continue that somewhat. I do have a $30 grocery haul that I did at Aldi's that you should see before you see this one. And then I'll maybe try a $40 one or a $50 one, but I'm definitely going to try to do a $30 Thanksgiving dinner. So we'll see about that. So if you want more budget-friendly tips and tricks, check this video out right here.